ravens had gone. His armor split in 7 places, still somehow he'd held on. He bore no banners, swore no king, had fought for something old, a code of blood and brotherhood that no one living told.
I knelt beside him in the mud and asked him what remained of all the wars he'd sworn and won, of every oath he'd named.
He looked at me with quiet eyes and said without a sound, "The night is not the kingdom."
I was never crown bound. Answer slow and weary, I have served beneath a dozen kings before this one was crowned.
I have watched the throne change hands so many times, the gold turned brown. They promised me the glory, they promised me the name,
but glory is a fire,
and the name is just a flame. Fallen brothers on my back across the snow. I have buried them in foreign soil with nowhere left to go.
And every time a new king rises,
reaching for his right, he asks the last night standing,
"Brother, will you fight?"
And every time
he stands,
and every time
he bleeds,
not for the crown that men demand, but for the thing that no crown needs.
Honor, just honor,
fading at the seams,
the last of the old world,
holding up its dreams. The last night standing in a field of ash, the last night standing after hope has passed. He does not stand for thrones, he does not stand for gold, he stands because the vow he swore was never bought or sold. The last night standing when the banners fall, the last night standing answers duty's call.
not the strongest,
Not the fastest,
not the most renowned,
just the one who would not leave
until the last was found.
He told me of the first king, barely more than a boy, who asked me to protect a world, not a battle toy.
He told me of the queen who gave her ring and said,
"Go free." I kept it in my gauntlet, it was all she gave to me.
He told me of the night he nearly broke beneath the weight,
when honor seemed so foolish
and surrender
almost great,
but something in the marrow,
something older than his name,
rose up and said,
"A knight does not decide to leave the flame." And every time
he rose,
and every time
he stayed,
not for the history or the prose, but for the oath his younger self once made.
honor,
Just honor, older than the stone,
the last of a kind,
who refused to be alone.
the last night standing
In a field of ash,
the last night standing
after hope has passed. He does not stand for thrones, he does not stand for gold, he stands because the vow he swore was never bought or sold.
the last night standing
When the banners fall,
the last night standing
answers duty's call.
not the strongest,
Not the fastest,
not the most renowned,
just the one who would not leave
until the last was found. I asked him, "Is it worth it?"
every war, every wound.
He smiled and said, "Ask the morning."
Ask the men entombed,
Ask the villages we saved,
ask the children born in peace.
ask the years that followed.
After the swords found release,
You fight, so the fighting.
someday comes to an end.
You stand, so the standing.
Someday isn't something you defend.
You are the last night standing.
So there's no last night left to be.
You are the last night standing.
So the next ones can be free.
The last night standing.
In the morning light,
The last night standing.
laid down his fight.
He did not stand for thrones.
He stood for something more.
He stood for all the ones who stand when there's no more war.
Watch the banners rise.
The last night standing.
Saw it with his eyes.
Not the strongest,
Not the greatest,
but the truest one around.
the last night standing.
Gently,
Laid his sword down. I wrote his name in the chronicles that night.
not as a hero,
Not as a king,
simply as
the one who stayed.
the one who stayed.